best character in the series, and that's why you hit 100%. Oh, my bad, bro. I didn't even notice you back here. Are you in the back trying to cope because Hoshina hit 100% output before your favorite character? We're not coping on this side because we already knew Hoshina was the GOAT. Let's get into it. So this chapter review is going to be a little bit shorter than most of my chapter reviews, and it's also not going to be edited quite as much, just because I'm actually going out of town here in a few hours, so I don't have as much time, but wanted to get this video out to y'all before I actually get back into town, which isn't until like Monday, dog. But chapter 92, this is some of the best artwork that we have gotten in one chapter in this whole series. Matsumoto went off. I had chills multiple times this chapter, and I know y'all feel the same way, bro. Whenever Hoshina did that full release at the end and that black electricity was coming out of him, I was gassed. When Hoshina said that he was a carbon copy of Kaiju number 10, and number 10 was just menacingly standing behind Hoshina, ready to attack 12, how do they not get you lit seeing them finally have their core values aligned and ready to go and take out number 12? It's funny because I posted a video last week titled The Beauty of Soshiro Hoshina and Kaiju number 10, and that video really highlighted a lot of what we see in chapter 92. Chapter 92 started off with Hoshina asking himself why whenever he was growing up, even though he would lose to Soichiro over and over and over again, and he would get told to give up on his dreams over and over and over again, he never stopped fighting. And he's asking himself, why is that? Why did I never stop fighting? Then he looks at 10 and asks 10, did I never stop swinging because I wanted to beat my brother? 10's like, no. Did I want to hold on to my swordsmanship since it's the only thing I got going for me? 10 says no. Hoshina says, is it to fulfill my duties as a vice captain? And that's when 10 says, bro, quit playing with yourself. Why are you swinging a sword? And that's when we finally see Soshiro have that flashback of being a child and losing to his brother. But he's smiling after he loses because he realizes that swinging the sword is fun. And this is a concept that we've talked about on this channel before, dog. Hoshina has not trained his whole life to do something that he hates doing. Hoshina has mastered a technique and done it his whole life because Hoshina loves to fight. He loves to swing the sword, and maybe that's part of that Hoshina bloodline. Maybe he's not necessarily as good as his incarnate brother, but at the same time, that Hoshina bloodline and that pride that Hoshina has is oozing right now because he just has fun swinging the sword. And that's when you see Kaiju number 10 finally start to get those like surges of power going through its body. And you can tell just based off of the panel work. Obviously, we don't know what exact percentage they were at in this moment since they weren't able to get over 83%. But the moment that Soshiro said swinging the sword is fun, that is when their output percentage slowly started creeping up. And 10 is like, that is exactly right, bro. We're having fun right now, so keep swinging. And I think that one of my favorite parts of this chapter was to see that Kaiju number 10 was quote unquote exploding, kind of like how it did whenever it did that Wyvern raid. Because whenever it exploded, that's when its fortitude levels went up. And we're seeing a very similar thing here where whenever it quote unquote exploded, we also see Soshiro and Kaiju number 10's core values are finally starting to align. They both realize that fighting is what they truly love to do, and since they're sharing this mutual love, this is what's going to get them over the hump to finally beat Kaiju number 12, dog. And that sync got them to 100% output, the first character that we've seen it from in this series. And we had that feeling that it was going to happen with them, right? With somebody like 10 and Hoshina, I feel like their suit more than anybody else's really requires them to be working at 100%. Because Kaiju number 10 has a will of its own, right? It's still sentient. So even though Hoshina is in control of things, 10 can still control things at the same time. And we saw that in chapter 73 when Hoshina wants to go left and 10 wants to go right, or any of those other times where they had combative opinions. But overall, bro, that breakthrough was so hype. And I don't know why. You can let me know in the comments down below. But Kikoru's fight was just as long as Hoshina's fight, but something about Hoshina's fight feels so much more satisfying to read to me than Kikoru's fight did, and I can't answer you why, dog. Like, I'm not talking trash on Kikoru's fight, But this Hoshina fight has felt so satisfying from start to end versus Kikoru's fight from start to end. And maybe that's because we already had a lot more Kikoru lore than we do from Hoshina. And also, Hoshina's my favorite character, so I also have to take that with a grain of salt and think to myself, well, of course you're going to enjoy watching your favorite character level up, Dalton. Of course you're going to enjoy watching him get to 100% before anybody else, Dalton. Like, don't be a dumbass, bro. Back, yeah. Getting back to it, then Hoshina finally thinks to himself, wow, are my motivations really this? Is it really this simple that I just love to swing the sword? I sound like a carbon copy of Kaiju number 10. And seeing number 10 behind Hoshina when Hoshina's about to grab that single blade, and alongside of that, 10 being in its raised form, whatever you want to call it. I just said raised because of Chojin X. Great series, by the way. Check it out if you're not reading it. If you like Tokyo Ghoul and love Suya Shida works, A+. A+. But getting back to it. This was really like the culmination of the chapter. Once it got to this point, we saw Hoshina steadily climb up to 100% output like we just got done saying. He squatted down, and next chapter is going to be when 10 and Hoshina are in full sync and attack Kaiju number 12 with 100% full release. The one thing that can be a challenge in this situation is the fact that Kaiju number 12 still does have that extreme adaptability, and it's something that Hoshina fully knows. He told number 10, like, hey dog, this is our last chance to actually be able to do this in one try. If we fail here, we are probably going to die versus number 12 because it can still adapt to us. But one thing I will say is Kaiju number 12 can adapt to techniques, but Kaiju number 12, I wouldn't imagine can physically adapt to something that is stronger or faster than it. And whenever it tried to let off that attack at Hoshina and Hoshina dipped back to go grab another sword, hey, Hoshina moves so fast that even number 12 was shook. So while it can adapt, it doesn't necessarily mean that it can replicate. Adapting and replicating are not the same thing. So obviously I think Hoshina is going to end up winning this fight. And I think that that's going to end up happening next chapter. But nah, man, this was a great chapter overall. And like I said, something about this fight has been the best fight in the war to me. Narumi versus number 11 was dope. Kikoru versus 15 was dope. But neither of them are touching to me how great this fight is with Hoshina and number 12. Matsumoto was doing a great job of building up this character of Hoshina. And you can tell that Matsumoto appreciates Hoshina just as much as everybody else that voted Hoshina as one of the top 3 favorite characters in the popularity poll. So, nah, man, I'm very much so happy seeing Hoshina hit 100%. I'm sorry that this video isn't edited as much as my other ones are, and that it's a little bit shorter, but like I said, I'm going out of town, y'all. So, just wanted to get this out. I'm definitely going to drop another Kaiju video next week. Just let me know what you're trying to see down below. Maybe not even a Kaiju video. I might drop a Sakamoto Days video. I'm getting pretty deep into that series. I'm probably like 40 chapters off from catching up all the way, so we'll see. I'll think about it. But other than that, you know the vibes. I got to get this edited and get it out to y'all, so arigato. If you came and watched this video, if you want to talk to us about any more anime and manga content, I will post the Discord link in the description below. Also, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. If you already made it this deep in the video, why not just show some love? Come on. But nah, I'll catch y'all later, man. Peace.